Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nick Parsons, this is Mindset for Life, and I'm here today to talk to you about how you can do well in job interviews. And I'm going to give you the hints and tips that will help you be successful, get the most out of the interview, and hopefully you'll get the job. But I guarantee by listening to this, I'll put you in a better position to get the job than you were before. So listen to the end, because I'll be giving you tips and really giving you some mindset tricks that will help you on the day. So, number one, first thing, and it's quite an obvious one, but where you've applied for the role, whatever job it is, you've applied for the job. Where's the interview? A lot of interviews will be done online, which is great. If they are online, brilliant. Think about your internet. Think about your connection. Where you're going to do the interview. What room are you going to be in? Have you got a laptop, camera? Is it all working? Skype account, whichever, Zoom, Google Meet, whichever platform it is. Make sure you're set up and you are available on that platform and you can use it. So make sure, one, if the interview's from home, you've got the tech set up to do it. Your phone should be good enough. But another real good tip, if you are doing an interview from home, and imagine that I'm being interviewed now, behind the camera, you can put all your notes and things that you want. So if it is an interview at home, it's a really good opportunity that behind the camera you can put up your CV, you can write things on pieces of paper, post-it notes or a whiteboard, depending on what you've got available, and just put bullet points about things that you want to talk about and things that you think are relevant to the job. But if you are attending an interview, make sure you know, and it sounds really, really simple, but people overlook this. Where is the interview? How long is it going to take you to get there? What time of day is it? Are you going to hit traffic? And always plan to give yourself, I always give myself, when I've gone for interviews, at least 30 minutes. I plan to get there at least 30 minutes before. Because one, you might know the building that you're going to. What if it's a big building and there's loads of offices and you've got to go and check in somewhere, and then you've got all the extra bits at the minute with COVID and all that sort of stuff that you have to go through. So it might take you a while to then get to the actual place, the actual interview room where you're being interviewed. So there's two scenarios there. What sort of interview is it? If it's face-to-face, time to get there, give yourself plenty of time, allow for delays. And if you've left yourself plenty of time and there is still a delay and you're going to be late, make sure you have the details of the person who is interviewing you and contact them. Pull up if you have to, give them a call, explain to them what's happened, roads blocked, whatever. You've left plenty of time, but still you might be late or you are going to be late. Just let them know. And then they can have a push the interview back, reschedule, or do something different. They would rather that happen than you turn up 10, 15 minutes late somewhere in a sweat, in a panic. You won't be ready. If you've had the conversation beforehand, they know you're running late, all good. So, second thing, the way you dress, the way you're going to present yourself. It's really, really important. Now, I would say if you're going for a job in a position of authority, at the very least, you're going to wear a shirt or a shirt and tie. Any position in authority, I would recommend that. And one, it's presenting yourself in the right way. So you're coming across like you're taking this job seriously. You really want this job. You're putting the effort into it. You're presenting yourself. You're dressing up smart. You're making the effort, and it's leaving a good impression. And don't worry about, this is a mindset piece here. Don't worry about it. Don't think, well, what if I'm the only person in a suit? If you are, they will remember you for the right reasons. And you can flip that the other way. What if I'm the only one not in a suit? Then they're going to remember you for the wrong reasons. Yeah, it's about making the right impression. And equally, when you dress well, how do you feel? How do you feel? Remember the last time you stuck your really smart suit on and you got really, really, dressed up and made some real effort? How did you feel? How did that make you feel inside? How much more of a spring in your step do you have? You're like, walking around, yeah, look at me. It makes you more confident. It gives you that belief. It gives you that extra drive. So dress smart, dress up, wear a suit. If it's a position of authority, definitely wear a suit. Definitely do that. So the next thing is, right, you maybe go into maybe an internal promotion that you're going for or an internal position that you're going for. Equally, like I said before, research it, make sure you're dressed to impress, but equally, get to know about, if it is the company that, if it's an internal position that you're going for, you should know about the company, but do your research anyway. And especially if it's an external, find out about the company, find out about their values. All companies have them. Have they got a mission statement? Read it, and then try and tailor your interview and your questions around the company values, which we'll touch on in a minute, but get to know them. You can find the information out on the internet. Just a few clicks on Google, you can find out most things, but take some time and do that research and bullet out some notes, because it's more than likely you will be asked. So it's better to go in prepared with something rather than, I don't know. If you can go in and start talking about the company values and what's attracted you to the position, it shows you've done your research and you're wanting the job for the right reasons, and they can start to imagine you fitting into their organisation. And don't forget, when you go into an interview, the people interviewing you don't want you to fail. They actually want you to come in and do well. They may put you under a little bit of pressure with questionings and whatever, but they want you to do well. So don't think they're out there to get you. They just want to draw the best out of you. A good interviewer will try and draw the best out of you. So just remember that. They're not there to trip you up and prevent you from getting a job. They're there to recruit somebody to fit into their business, whatever position it is that you're going for, wherever in the structure it is. But they're looking for somebody, so they want you to do well. They want to know and see how you're going to fit into their organisation. So it's really, really important that you don't go in there thinking they're there to trip you up. They're actually there to see if you're a good fit, and that's what you're there to do, and show them that you are. So about moving on to the interview itself. So you've gone into the interview. The likelihood is they give you a bit of an itinerary or a timetable of, you may be going for some sort of assessment day, assessment centre, but they may tell you what type of interview it is. So if it is, one of the best ones or most common ones is it's competency-based interview, and depending on how high or the level of position that you're going for, it depends on the type of questions and what they expect to hear from you. So do some research on competency-based questions. They will ask you for examples of certain scenarios. Tell me a time when you had to deal with X, Y, and Z. How did you do that? How did it make you feel? What was the outcome? Think about all those things when you're going through these competency-based questions and what's going to be asked of you. And really think about the questions and your answers. Think about scenarios that you've been involved in that are similar to the question. Think about examples that you've maybe been involved in work or even out of work in your private life. But be authentic. You may exaggerate these a little bit, but be authentic with them. Be you. Yep. Don't be afraid to be yourself, because ultimately you will be yourself at work. You could go and try and bullshit an interview, but you're going to be yourself in the long run. That's what's going to come out. So be yourself in the interview. It's the right thing. You need to make sure, they need to make sure you're the right fit equally. You need to make sure you're the right fit for them. So if you're just lying basically through your interview, it's not really going to work, if we're being completely honest. So think about other questions that you might get asked. Now they'll talk to you about your CV. They'll pull bits out. So make sure you've got your CV, you have it with you, but you should know your CV. So make sure you know your CV. You know what's on there. Make sure it's right. Make sure there's no gaps that are going to come. If there are gaps on your CV, make sure you're prepared to talk about them, because they will ask you about them. They'll ask you about gaps on your CV, particularly recent ones. So whether it's you've taken time off to have a child, or maybe you've taken off because you might have had a child, or whatever it is, just if you've not mentioned it on your CV, then be prepared to talk about it in the interview. You may also get asked questions about, where do you see yourself in 5 years? So be prepared for that. Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? People ask that question, and a lot of people go, God, who knows where we're going to be in 5 years' time? We didn't know 2020 was going to be like this. But that all doesn't matter. Let them know you've got a bit of a plan. Let them know what your plan is. 5 years time, I see myself wherever, in this organisation, at the next level, leading projects, doing X, Y and Z. That's where I see myself, and I see this position as a really good stepping stone to that. Yep, I will add value, I can do this for you, and this seems like the natural position for me to progress within my career. So that's how you sort of answer those questions and really deliver it. But really think about your answer. Don't go in there not expecting that question, because it will come out. They may ask you curveball questions, and it's fine if they do. Just be prepared for the sort of unexpected. Even if it is a structured competency-based interview, there's always 1 or 2 questions that they're going to ask you. Now, I'm not saying that to put you off, but to prepare yourself. And ultimately, this whole process is all about the preparation. And if you prepare for it and over-prepare for it, put time into it, because it'll pay for itself if you get the job. And I've got 2 more tips for you. Ask questions. So think about what you want to know. I said earlier, you need to be able to feel like you fit. Yep. So ask questions. Ask them about the training, their induction plan if you're new to the business, all these sorts of things, how much time you'd have doing this. Ask them about the structure of the business. If you're going to be a manager, how many people reporting into you would be, where you fit into the structure, all those sorts of questions. Yeah. If this is the first round of interviews, if it's going to be more interview, ask them about that. Ask them what the next steps are. If this is the one and only interview, then maybe you could ask about the salary and the package at this point. But if you are going on to other interviews, it may be better off asking that a little bit later on. But don't be afraid to ask those questions. Ask them. They are there. This interview is two-way. It's an opportunity for you to get to know about the company and the people you're going to be working with, as much as it is for those guys to get to know about you. Now, the final piece I've got for you, and this is really, really important. Really important. This is your mindset. Okay. So if you go away and put all this work into it, you can put this effort into it, put this time into it, there's no reason for you to give a poor interview. There's no reason whatsoever, because you've prepared for it. You've put effort into it. You've researched it. You've put time into it. But you still might worry about it. You still might let it start to get to you. Leave some tips for that. So a great tip, a great tip is to visualize. Just visualize the day. Visualize the interview. Just sit there, take some time out, sit down, close your eyes and visualize the interview. Visualize the process. Visualize yourself going into the room. Visualize meeting the people. How are you going to introduce yourself? Visualize yourself answering the questions and asking questions. Visualize going through the interview. Visualize at the end, you're saying goodbye. Visualize how good you're going to feel. Visualize yourself getting the job. Visualize that offer letter. Visualize it over and over and over again. Do it often, because it tricks the brain into thinking it has already happened. You've already done it. And that takes the nerves away. You'll go into there a lot more relaxed because it feels like you've already done it. If you think about it, have you ever done something in the past and then a little bit later on in the future you've had to go and do it again? But because you've already done it, you feel a lot more confident about it. So it's just about tricking the brain into thinking it's already done it. So you gain more confidence and you go into it with less nerves. Now, excuse me. Now, if you are starting to feel nervous, and especially on the day, you may get a little bit anxious, and take some time and tell yourself that you're excited. You are excited. Just take some time. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited to be here. This feeling I'm feeling is excitement. I am excited. And tell yourself that over and over again. Because anxiety and excitement are the same. They're the same. They're all driven from the same place. And if you can keep telling yourself that it's excitement, it's been scientifically proven that people going onto a stage to do presentations, those that sit there and beforehand and tell themselves they're excited to be there and they're excited to have the opportunity. They presented for a lot longer than the people that didn't. It's been tested and proven in different environments. That's just one example. So from a mindset point of view, visualize a day, visualize the questions, and if you are still feeling anxious, try and change that feeling to one of excitement and tell yourself that. But don't worry about it, because there's no point worrying about something that hasn't happened. No point worrying about it. Worrying will just take the energy away from you delivering the best you. And if you can go in there and deliver, all you're doing at the end of the day is talking about yourself. You're talking about yourself. So if you can go into a room and talk for 20, 30 minutes about yourself and answer all these questions, there's no reason you can't do that, right? That's all you're doing. So visualize your day. Get your mind into the right place. You can do it. Positive affirmation. You can do it. But just put the time in. Make sure you know where you're going. Dress to impress. Research the company. If it's competency-based, research competency-based questions. Think about your answers. Think about scenarios. Be authentic. Be you. Ask questions about the company. Be prepared for the curveball questions. They may ask you about your weaknesses. They may ask you where you expect to see yourself in 5 years. Have answers prepped, ready. And do the mindset work. Do that often, because that will help you more than you know. More than you know. When you get the job, you'll look back and go, oh, do you know what? I've put the time in, done it, it works. And guarantee, if you follow these processes, these things that I've told you today, when you're going into interviews, then I guarantee you'll do better than if you didn't do some or all of these. I absolutely guarantee it. So take some time out, save this video, come back to it, share it, do what you want with it, but use it, use what I've said, think about the mindset and go and smash it. Have an absolutely great day, and thank you for listening.